PFL World Tournament 7 semifinals. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to my brother Alex breaking down the entire PFL card. He's doing PFL picks on the channel from now on. So keep it locked in with him. Make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Enough of me yapping. Let's get to the video. Here's Alex.
What is going on, everybody? We are back with the PFL semifinals predictions. In this one, we got the middleweights, the light heavyweights, and the heavyweights. I'm excited to break it down and give you guys my picks, so let's jump into the first fight of the night. So first fight of the night, we got Rafael Xavier taking on Albrektsson, and in this one, I'm going Rafael Xavier to get it done. I think he's going to be able to tag up Albrektsson on the feet. In Xavier's last fight, he lost to Simeon Powell, where, if we remember that fight, Rafael Xavier clipped him. He dropped him with a nice front kick right up the center in that first round. And then at the end of the round, he was able to drop him with a jab. So I do think this guy's got some serious pop on the feet. Albrektsson, he's all right. He's all right on the feet. I think he's a little bit stiff and a little bit awkward on the feet. In his last fight, he was taking on Simeon Powell as well, where he got absolutely destroyed. Simeon Powell came in, ripped some elbows, and put him down in that second round. And I don't see Albrektsson getting out of the second round. I think Albrektson's going to get finished in this fight. I think Rafael Xavier is going to come at him, throw some big, powerful shots. And I think he could even, I would even say first round finish for Rafael Xavier in this one. Albrektsson, you know, he hasn't been looking too good in his in the last few years, I would say. Back in 2021, Victor Nemkov, he got that win over. But since then, I don't think he's looked that great. I think his skill set's gone down. I don't think he's the same guy. And I think he's gotten a lot worse than he once was. At one period of time, he was decent. He fought Yuri Prochazka back in the day in Ryzen. But now, I don't think Albrektson's that same dude, and I don't think he wins this fight. He's going to be trying to come forward on Xavier, push him up against the cage, and use that wrestling. But I'll be honest, I think Rafael Xavier is going to be able to stop the takedowns. I think he'll be strong enough to keep Albrektsson away from him and land some big shots on the feet. So I'm going Rafael Xavier to get it done. The odds on this fight, we got Rafael Xavier is sitting at the minus 165 favorite, and Albrektsson is the plus 135 underdog. I just see Xavier being able to beat Albrektsson. I don't see Albrektsson being able to string together that wrestling. Could we maybe see, I don't know, could we see Albrektsson come on strong later in the fight if he's able to get out of the first and second round? Maybe Xavier starts gassing out and he can put on the pressure. But I don't know. I don't see Albrektsson being able to get out of the early rounds. I think he's going to get finished in this fight. So I'm leaning Xavier to get it done. I think Albrektsson gets chinned. Next fight of the night, we got... Personally, I think this is probably going to be fight of the night contender. You know, this might be the best fight on the card. Rodrigo Nascimento versus Oleg Popov. And obviously, I'm fucking joking. This fight's probably going to be pretty boring. I don't see this fight being too entertaining. But I'm going Oleg Popov to get it done. Rodrigo Nascimento's coming off that split decision win against Abraham Bobley, where he looked all right. He was able to keep Bobley off him, keep him away. String together some decent combos on the feet. Use the clinch. But realistically, Rodrigo Nascimento, he's all right on the feet. He's got decent grappling. Oleg Popov, I think his wrestling is going to be superior in this fight. I think he's going to be able to get Rodrigo Nascimento down to the ground. And even on the feet, I can see Rodrigo Nascimento getting cracked. I think Oleg Popov, he's got good pop in his good movement on the feet. He likes to bounce around. And I wings in some big overhand shots, and I think he could even be catching Rodrigo Nascimento. But I think that being said, I think the stand-up, Oleg Popov having some success is going to be able to make him get the takedowns on Nascimento. So I think Oleg Popov is going to set up some takedowns after mixing in some striking, and I see him being able to beat Rodrigo Nascimento. The odds on this fight, we got Popov sitting at the minus 226, and Rodrigo Nascimento is the minus 186, or the plus 186 underdog. Rodrigo Nascimento, I don't see him winning this fight. I think Oleg Popov is going to be able to handle him. I think his wrestling's too good. I think he's going to be able to string together his takedowns pretty well, and I can see him getting this fight to the ground and winning a I'll say unanimous decision. He's coming off that win against Carl Williams where I had Oleg Popov to win that fight, but Carl Williams gave a very tough fight. I wasn't expecting that much out of him. But Oleg Popov was able to beat him there. What did he look super impressive? Not really. He was just kind of hugging and pushing Carl Williams up against the cage. But I do think he's going to be able to get Rodrigo Nascimento down and push him up against that cage and get it done. So I'm going Oleg Popov to win a boring decision, I would say. Next fight of the night, we got Muhammad Ali's grandson, Biagio Ali Walsh, taking on Ronnie Gibbs. Ronnie Gibbs, 1-0. All right as an amateur. But, come on. There's no way Walsh is going to lose this fight. I think he does have solid striking. He's got good takedowns, good wrestling, and I think he's going to be able to beat up Ronnie Gibbs. I think it's pretty cool that Muhammad Ali's grandson's fighting in PFL, though. So that's a good plus for PFL. I think that's good for this guy. He's going down the MMA route instead of boxing. I respect it. I'm going Walsh to get it done. Walsh, he's sitting at the minus 1,500 favorite. Gibbs is the plus 850 in this fight. Walsh, I think, should be able to handle Gibbs with ease. I think Gibbs, I don't think he's going to be able to have much. I don't think his striking's that great, and I think his wrestling is lacking too. So I think Walsh is going to be able to get it done any way he wants to, and I can see a finish in this fight. Next fight of the night, we got Valentin Moldavsky versus Alexander Romanov. Moldavsky is coming off that split decision win against Sergey Balestini, where a lot of people would say Balestini won that fight. It was pretty close. Could you say Balestini won? I would say you could say he won, but very close fight. Decent in the first round, second round, all right. Both of them were landing some decent shots. Valentin Moldavsky was able to land some decent shots on Balestini, but I don't know. Moldavsky's got decent wrestling, decent takedowns. His kickboxing solid when it's on point. He's able to land decently on the feet, but in this fight against Alexander Romanov, I think Romanov's going to be too big for him. I think Romanov's going to come out there, be able to use that wrestling and overpower Moldavsky in this fight. Moldavsky, could we say maybe has a slight advantage on the feet? Potentially. Romanov does sometimes stand there and gets hit a little bit, but I don't know. Romanov's coming off that decent win against Tim Johnson where he was able to fucking guillotine him pretty fast in that first round. Is Tim Johnson as good as Valentin Moldavsky? I wouldn't say so, but in this fight, I think Romanov is going to be able to get it done against Moldavsky. Moldavsky, I think this size disadvantage is going to be too much, and I see Romanov pushing him up against the cage, getting the fight to the ground, and just beating him up from there. Moldavsky, I don't see him being able to stop the takedowns of Romanov, so I'm going Romanov to get it done by the smother. I think Romanov going to embrace that smother, push up Moldavsky against the cage, get it done. The odds, we got Moldavsky sitting at a minus 175 favorite, and Romanov is the plus 145 underdog. So, looks like people are thinking Moldavsky can maybe handle Romanov on the feet, stop the takedowns. But I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing Romanov be able to get it done. I think he's going to be too big. He's going to put that belly right in Moldavsky's fucking face and smother him. So I'm going Romanov to get it done. I think in this fight, we could potentially see a late finish, late submission win for Romanov. That's what I would think, or decision. So I'm going Romanov to get it done. I think he's going to be able to handle him on the ground, use that size. Next fight of the night, we got Antonio Carlos Jr. taking on Simeon Powell. And in this fight, I'm going Simeon Powell. I think he's going to be able to catch Carlos Jr. when he's coming in, trying to get the takedowns. Carlos Jr. is coming off that good win against Carl Moore, where he was able to string together those takedowns and beat him up for 3 rounds. That's what I would say. It was a split decision, but I thought Antonio Carlos Jr. won that fight for sure, 2-1. Carl Moore, he's all right. I don't think his stand-up is as good as Simeon Powell. Could potentially we see Simeon Powell get grapple fucked? I am slightly worried of that. Antonio Carlos Jr., He does got good ground game, good jiu-jitsu. Could he grapple fuck Simeon Powell? I don't know, maybe. But I don't know. I'm going with Simeon Powell. Simeon Powell just handled Albrektsson, who was trying to come in and just smother him, use his wrestling. Simeon Powell was able to catch him with some big shots in the feet, and I think he could put away Carlos Jr. in this fight. I know the grappling is there for Carlos Jr., but I don't know if he's going to be able to string it together against Simeon Powell. Come on, Simeon Powell looking at me 6'5", 85-inch reach. This guy's a serious problem from range. He's going to be keeping Carlos Jr. on the outside, and I think he cracks him with some big shots. Carlos Jr. is going to try to come in and rush him, push him up against the cage, and get the fight to the ground, but I don't know. I think Simeon Powell is going to be able to fend off the takedowns, keep the fight at range, and I think he cracks Carlos Jr. on the feet. And I see a finish for Simeon Powell in this one. The odds, we got Simeon Powell sitting at a -175, and Carlos Jr. is the +145 underdog. I think Simeon Powell gets it done. I think he's going to be too smooth, you know? Smooth Simeon Powell gets it done in this fight. I think he touches up Carlos Jr. on the feet, and I think he puts him away. Next fight of the night, we got Dalton Rosta taking on Aaron Jeffery. This is a rematch here. Aaron Jeffery was able to win their first fight by decision, unanimous. And I'll be real, I've been going back and forth on this fucking fight. It's close. Both of these guys kind of got similar styles, I would say. They both like getting the fight to the cage, pushing their opponents up against it. Dalton Rosta, I do think he might be a little more explosive. His last loss when he first fought Aaron Jeffery. When was that? 2023. So 2 years ago he fought Jeffery. Have we seen improvements from Dalton Rosta? I think we could say yes. I think he's a little bit better now. Aaron Jeffery in that first fight was able to keep that pressure, smother him up against the cage. And Dalton Rosta he started gassing out. He started winding in that fight. And Jeffery was able to win the decision. In this fight, it might go the exact same fucking way. I'm not going to lie. Aaron Jeffery might be able to fucking fend off the big takedowns of Dalton Rosta and smother him up against the cage, use that wrestling. And we could see Aaron Jeffery win the decision again. I don't even know which way to go. I've been back and forth on this fight. Dalton Rosta, he does, I think, have potentially better stand-up, a little more crisp on the feet. Could we see him win the fight? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to lean Dalton Rosta to tie it up and make it 1-1 with these two. I think he's going to be able to get revenge on Aaron Jeffery and win this fight. Aaron Jeffery is coming off that win against Murad Ramazanov, where he was able to win that split decision. Ramazanov, solid wrestler, decent grappler, good wrestling. Fuck. Should I be going fucking Jeffery? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm going Dalton Rosta. I'm sticking to that pick. Dalton Rosta is going to get the win. I think he's going to be able to mix it up on the feet. Do I see him being able to take down Aaron Jeffery? Potentially. I think we could see him get the legs. Aaron Jeffery, I would say he's got a decent shot in this fight. This could be close. This could kind of go either way, I would say. But I'm going to lean Dalton Rosta to get it done. I think this guy maybe wants it more. He's a little hungrier. And I think he can get revenge on Aaron Jeffery in this fight. The odds, we got Rosta sitting at a -140, and Jeffery is the +110 underdog. It's going to be a close one. I'm not super confident in Dalton Rosta, I'd say. But I'm going to say he's going to get the win. I think he gets his revenge on Aaron Jeffery and gets it done. I'm going to say decision win for Dalton Rosta. Next fight of the night, we got Sergio Pettis taking on Rafael Stots. Sergio Pettis, decent kickboxer. Rafael Stots, all right on the feet. He's nothing too impressive. Got flatlined by Patchy Mix. And even in his last fight against Marcos Breno, in that first round, he was wobbled multiple times. He was able to end up submitting Breno. But on the feet, he was getting clipped up by Breno in that fight. Sergio Pettis, I would say he's got the better striking in this one. But the ground game is where I'm expecting Rafael Stots to shine. And I think he's going to be able to take down Sergio Pettis. I think he's going to be able to win this fight. I'd probably say by decision. Last fight, Sergio Pettis, he took on Horiguchi. And he was getting grapple fucked. He was getting taken down left and right in that fight. I think Rafael Stots is going to be able to get it done. I think he's going to be able to use that wrestling and beat Sergio Pettis. If Sergio Pettis can keep him off, stop the takedowns. Fuck. Yeah. Could Sergio Pettis stop the takedowns? We could. If Sergio Pettis comes out there and stop those takedowns of Rafael Stots, I'd say Stots is in some trouble. I think Sergio Pettis is quicker on the feet. He's got better hands, better combinations, and he's definitely the better kickboxer. But Rafael Stots got that wrestling, and I think he's gonna be able to string it together against Sergio Pettis. So I'm gonna go Rafael Stots to get it done. The odds on this fight, we got Sergio Pettis is the plus 140. Rafael Stots is the minus 170 underdog. I think Rafael Stots is going to be able to get it done. He looked pretty decent against Danny Sabatello. Rafael Stots, I think, is going to be able to string together the takedowns and get Sergio Pettis down to the ground, push him up against the cage, use that grappling. And I think we see him get it done. So I'm going Rafael Stots in this one. Next fight of the night, we got Phil Davis taking on Sullivan Cauley. And people are going to hate me. Y'all are going to be shitting on me for this pick. But I'm going Sullivan Cauley to beat Phil Davis in this one. I picked against Phil Davis last time, and I was wrong. I picked Rob Wilkinson, and Phil Davison fucking chinned them, all right? But in this fight, I'm going to pick against Phil Davis again. I don't know what's going on. And am I a hater of Phil Davis? No, absolutely not. But I think Sullivan Cauley is going to be able to win the fight. So I'm going Sullivan Cauley to get it done. I think he's going to come forward on Phil Davis. And I think he could land some big shots on the feet. In his last fight, he fought Alex Polizzi, who we know Polizzi. He's got good wrestling. He fucking takes his opponents down, smothers them. Sullivan Cauley was able to fend off the takedowns. He was able to fucking not get chain wrestled. He wasn't getting too smothered. Yes, he got taken down at one point, but he was able to stand back up to his feet, get the fight into he was in the over-unders in the clinch, and he was able to land those big elbows when Alex Polizzi was going down for the takedown. Sullivan Cauley, I think, has good takedown defense. I don't think Phil Davis is going to be able to get him down. And I think Phil Davis is going to get finished in this fight. Am I fucking nuts? Am I fucking crazy for that? Y'all are probably going to say I'm fucking nuts. But I'm telling you, I think Sullivan Cauley can beat Phil Davis in this one. I think Sullivan Cauley gets it done. I think he's going to come forward on Phil Davis, put a lot of pressure, and fucking overwhelm Phil Davis. Phil Davis is going to try to go for the takedowns. Sullivan Cauley's going to stop the takedowns. And Phil Davis is going to say, oh, shit. And then Sullivan Cauley's going to keep coming forward, throw some big bombs. And I think he puts away Phil Davis. I think we're going to see Sullivan Cauley finish Phil Davis in this one. The odds, we got Cauley sitting at a plus 200 underdog, and Phil Davis is the minus 260 favorite. I got this feeling about Sullivan Cauley, and I think he beats Phil Davis. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think I can see Sullivan Cauley beating Phil Davis. I don't know, maybe I'm nuts. But Rob Wilkinson, yes, Phil Davis looked good in that fight. He was able to chin him. But Rob Wilkinson, he's not the same. He's not the same as he once was. He's off the Sazul. He's off that sauce. Yeah, Phil Davis was able to look good against him. But Sullivan Cauley in this fight, I think he takes out Phil Davis. So I'm going Sullivan Cauley to get it done. I think he's going to finish Phil Davis. I like him to win the fight by a TKO. Maybe he KOs him, but I'm going Sullivan Cauley to get it done. Maybe I'm nuts, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm seeing something for this kid, and I think he beats Phil Davis in this fight. Now, on to the main event. We got Fabian Edwards taking on Josh Silveira. Silveira? I don't fucking know. Silveira. Fabian Edwards, good southpaw striker. He can smother his opponents up against the clinch, up against the cage. In his last fight, we saw him take out Impa Kasunganai, where he was the underdog in that fight. I had picked Fabian Edwards to win that fight. He was able to touch Impa Kasunganai on the feet. There was moments where Kasunganai was able to catch him. He landed a couple right hands on Fabian Edwards. But in this fight against Josh Silveira's got decent striking. I wouldn't say it's his expertise, but he's got decent striking. He's got good ground game, solid jiu-jitsu. But in this fight, I think Fabian Edwards gets it done. I think Fabian Edwards is going to beat Josh Silveira. I think Fabian Edwards is going to be able to mix it up well on the feet. I think he's going to be able to fucking crack up Josh Silveira on the feet. I think Silveira does stand a little bit square. And I think Fabian Edwards is going to be able to crack him. Do I see Silveira being able to control him on the ground? I wouldn't say so. Josh Silveira lost to Impa Kasunganai 2 times. Fabian Edwards is coming off that win against Impa Kasunganai. And I don't see Josh Silveira beating Fabian Edwards in this fight. I think Edwards is going to be able to dominate him. I think Edwards is going to be able to crack him on the feet. I could see him smothering him up against the cage. I think he's going to be the stronger man in there. And I think he beats Josh Silveira. So I'm going with Fabian Edwards to get it done. I'm not going to say he finishes him, or do I say he finishes him? I'm going to say decision. I think Fabian Edwards can get it done by a decision. Outwork Josh Silveira, piece him up on the feet, and I think he gets it done by a decision. The odds on this fight, we got Fabian Edwards is sitting at the minus 450 favorite, and Silveira is the plus 350 underdog. But yeah, I see Fabian Edwards being able to beat up Josh Silveira. I don't see Josh Silveira being able to control him on the ground. I don't see him being able to string together the grappling. And I think on the feet, he's at a big disadvantage. I think Fabian Edwards is going to be too much for him. He's going to have the slight range advantage. And I think he pieces him up on the feet. So I'm going Fabian Edwards to win this fight by a decision. So those are my full card predictions for the PFL World Tournament Semifinals. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see my UFC predictions, check out my channel. The link will be down in the description. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.